Hey there! So today I'm going to talk about this pen. This is one of those pens that I got from someone that belonged to her father. They'd been in a desk drawer for quite a while, and she gave them to me because she was not using them. She wanted me to have them, which is of course very nice. I already talked about this pen, the green Hoover Deluxe. Well, this is a Hoover too. It's black, and the model was, yes, Steel-O-Matic, which is a very charming name, I think. I'll cover the parts of the pen, tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and that's all there's to it. So, it says Hoover Steel-O-Matic on the cap. You can probably see the etching just a little bit there. If this clip had any plating, it's gone now. I'll be careful. It's still a bit, there's still some flex to it. Some rings there. 2 rings there. Again, if there was plating on that, it's gone now, but that's, you know, that's fine. It's a vintage pen. I kind of like the overall shape. Was that little cigar shape, right? Barrel, blind cap comes off, is glued together, not by me, but must have, I think someone stepped on that or something. You see the button there? You push that, put it in a bottle of ink, push the button, rubber sack inside, pressure bar, you push the button, bar presses, presses and depresses the sack. If you let go of the button, you know, the bar depresses the sack, ink is drawn up. Very nice old-fashioned mechanism, pretty cool. The sack on this pen was petrified, it was just gone, it was very hard and brittle, so I had to take that out, put a new sack in. Very easy to do. This is really not rocket science. Open up the pen, screw on cap. The nib had serious issues. I tried to bend it. It was bent. Let's start out that way. So instead of, you know, the tines being like this, they were like that. Very, very gently. And this is a steel nib, I guess. That's why it's called Steel-O-Matic. Very gently, I try to push them back into shape. And one of the tip, you know, the actual tips just broke off. Don't forget, this has been in a drawer for a long time, and this nib suffered. There are sort of marks on it, some pits in it. I don't know whether they use some type of very caustic ink in this, but the nib suffered. Let's just put it that way. It used to be a fine, and then I thought, do I have another nib that will fit on there? Maybe. And I thought, you know what, I've got some micro mesh here in various grits. Snipped off the other nib tip. I know that's probably sacrilege, but you can't use a nib with one, you know, one tip on there. And you're not going to send this to a nib meister for retipping. I think this wasn't that expensive. The whole nib is not worth it. I would need a new nib for this. Cut it off. Took some coarse micro mesh. Just ground it down. And I've got an italic nib, which currently, paper. I'll do a writing sample later, of course. It had some flow issues. It's got some flow issues right now. I'm not sure whether I can really deal with those flow issues, but for now, this is what it looks like. I'll show you a writing sample, you'll see it better, but you can see there's definitely line variation there. You see that with those little triangles where you go up, it's very narrow. When you go down, it's much broader. Again, flow issues, I'll have to work on that, but you know, it's a project pen. It's in decent shape, so I think that's kind of nice. So at least I got the nib to write again. I smoothed it out. It took me a while, but it's nice and smooth now. Of course, it's not going to last because the nib tips are actually some very hard metal, and this is just the steel of the nib. But I'll see. I'll just see. I mean, if I wouldn't use this pen, no one would. It would still be in a desk drawer, and pens are made to use. So That's what I do. Okay, what do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Well, it's a vintage pen. I got this pen. I mean, how can I not like anything about it? It's small. It's used. It's just that, right? The blind cap is cracked. The plating on the clip is gone. But someone used this a long time ago, and I think that is fantastic. And judging by the way it looks, it was used a lot. So someone loved this pen. Otherwise, they wouldn't use it that much. And I think that is just fantastic. And now it's mine. I'll take as good care of it as I can. Breaking out the nib tips is probably not the best way to start, but you know what I mean. I'll treat this with respect, and you know, I think it's a nice little pen. So off to writing sample. Bear in mind, flow issues still have to be worked on, but for now it does write with a bit of startup problems, and you know, shake it a bit, put some ink in the feed. And that's all there's to it. So a nice little pen. So enjoy the writing sample. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye. Okay, so here we go with the Hoover Steel-O-Matic. As you can see, ink flow still isn't perfect. Steel-O-Matic. The nib used to be fine, and the ink is Waterman Florida Blue. The Quick Steel Fox jumps over the Vacuum-Matic. Line variation. Writing is pretty smooth now, I have to say. Line variation. Well, it's an italic now, but even so. It flexes, except that I shouldn't try to push it too hard. Feed can't keep up. I still have to work on the flow in this pen. I'm pushing it to the max now. What about, you see there's quite some line variation, right? Which I like a lot. Whoops. When it writes, it's fairly wet. I should say, if it writes, it's fairly wet. Because it does take a bit of an issue. I really think the nib is in there far enough. I see there's a small gap between the feed. Okay, so you got the feed. This is poorly drawn, but just to give you an idea, you got you would like the nib to be right on there. What's going on here is that you have the feed and then the nib. And there's a small gap right there. And that's going to give you flow issues. I'm not sure whether that's the cause of this problem. Okay, just squeeze that a bit. This nib is not forever. I turn it into an italic, or a stub, whatever you like to call it. But of course now the tipping material is gone. It'll wear down. But still, for now it's a fun nib, which gives you some interesting line variation. Whoops. It's also a bit sharp. Well, flow, shouldn't you stop again? Ah, there we go. Yeah, so this needs a bit more work, but I think this is going to be a very fascinating pen if I get this to write and can get the flow to keep up. It's going to be pretty fascinating. So, I hope this was useful. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.